In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you the fastest way in 2018 to rank any product on Amazon up to page 1 and start making organic sales and profit in only 4 days. So don't go anywhere. What is up guys, it's Myles here. I hope you're having an amazing day. I know I am. I'm here in Sydney. Although, to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of having to wear long sleeves in this cold, so I've actually been planning my time in this lovely place in Panama, where I'll be heading shortly. But what I wanted to talk to you about today is what I've been working on, and this is something that's super interesting and honestly super critical if you're an Amazon seller or if you want to be. And what I've been working on is a new and really fast way to get my products ranked up on page 1 on Amazon and almost immediately get those profitable sales coming straight back in. The method I'll be talking about today is new and not many other sellers are doing this yet. Now, if you've watched my other videos, you probably already know that I've sold nearly $2 million on Amazon, and yet up until recently, I hadn't used this method either. Now, this is going to be the first video in a 3-part series which I'll be releasing over the coming days. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel right now and click that notification bell button so that you can be notified when I put those next ones out. But hang on a sec, what exactly am I talking about and why should you care? Well, let's go back a bit. But not that far back. So let's say we've done all our product research, we've found a supplier, we've got it all shipped into Amazon, and now what? We have to get it visible. Amazon is by far the world's largest e-commerce search engine. People are looking for almost anything imaginable. Traffic and conversion rates are crazy high, but we need to be able to take advantage of that by getting visibility. We can use paid ads like Amazon PPC to get that visibility artificially. But the issue is that we're paying for every click, every sale when we do that. And if that's not part of a long-term strategy to get organic visibility and get the product actually ranked up at the top of the search results, then we're basically paying a lot of that money unnecessarily. So the question then is, how can we get that visibility as fast as possible? Because if you can get it seen, you can get it sold. So what I'll be explaining today is a really fast and effective way of doing that. This system is going to use Facebook ads, messenger bots, and a few other cool little tools that I'll explain as we go. Now, this video is going to be the first part in a 3-part series. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel right now and click that notification bell button so that you can be notified as I put out the 2 other parts in this series. So without further ado, I'm going to magically transport you into my computer and we're going to go through everything step by step in detail. Alrighty guys, so in this video, part 1, I'm going to walk you through the instruction manual that I'm writing for myself as I go through this process. This is for myself and for my own business. And I do recommend, by the way, that if you are looking to make something sustainable and long term, as you do something, always write yourself instructions, because that makes it so much easier later on to teach other people how to do it, but more importantly, pay people to do it for you. So again, this method that I'm going to show you is quite new and not that many sellers are doing it yet. So this is a prime opportunity for you as a new seller, or maybe an existing seller who's trying to upskill and trying to do things better, to get in on the ground floor of something that works really well and build an advantage for yourself. And this business is competitive. The barriers to entry are quite small, and so we always have to be looking for new ways to stay ahead. So today we're talking about how to build a small system around Facebook ads to be able to very quickly rank your product up to page 1 for the right keywords and then immediately get those organic sales coming in and that profit. So this system is something that you can apply for multiple different purposes. Today we're just going to talk about launching a new product or for boosting rankings of an existing product. And I'm actually going to walk you through a case study of an existing product that I have that I'm doing this for in parts 2 and 3. Another great use that we can use this system for is to build an off-Amazon audience and to build a real sustainable brand. So when I say get leads, that's what I mean. Now, I talked about this in a previous video about how important that is. I'm going to put that up here. But for today, let's just worry about ranking products. So step by step, how are we going to do this? First of all, we're going to run Facebook ads. So we're going to offer a discounted product to our target audience. And I'll show you in part 2 how we select our target audience. Then we're going to deliver the promo codes to that audience, to the people who opt in to get those discounted products via Facebook Messenger bots. Now, this is something that is becoming increasingly popular. Again, Amazon sellers haven't yet really cottoned onto this, but I think in a year's time, less than 2 years' time, almost everybody will have to be doing this. So my advice to you is to start today and take this advantage for yourself. So we'll be using Manychat to do this, which is probably the best messenger bot out there. But essentially what this step is going to do is to automate that delivery of those promo codes to our audience. Then immediately after that audience has those promo codes, they're going to redeem them within a defined time period. So we're going to use particular messages and scarcity to make sure that we can get this done very quickly. And we're also going to give them a specific keyword ranking URL so that we can actually control what effect this has, which keywords we want to target, and therefore how we can rank. So all of this will be done and dusted in a very short period of time. There are two alternative ways of doing this. The traditional giveaway period runs from around about 8 to 14 days, but 8 days is normally sufficient. And over that period of time, you're giving away a certain amount of discounted products each day. Now, the second way of doing this happens in a much shorter time period, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do. So we can get this done either in 8 days or in 1 day. And the advantage of getting it done in 1 day is simply that all of this happens much faster. Once we've done that correctly, then what happens is Amazon will then send out those orders, fulfill them to customers, and after that process goes through, which takes around about 4 days, we'll start to see that ranking, if we've done this correctly, going up, and our product should be on page 1 after about 4 days. And finally, if we've done this correctly using the steps that I'll show you, that's when the profit starts. Once the product is up there and it's getting seen, it gets sold. And when it gets sold, you make money. So in this 3-part video series, I'll be running through everything step by step, really breaking it down for you. So in this first video, we'll talk about actually selecting the product. Now, obviously, if you're launching a product, then you only have one to choose from, but the important thing is that it's set up correctly to succeed. So there are a number of things that we have to do to make sure that that's going to happen. Then we need to choose a keyword. So I'll talk about how we choose that keyword, what we need to look out for. And then in video number 2, I'm actually going to talk you through step by step how we do it all, showing you the Facebook ads, setting up the promo codes, setting up the audience, using Manychat, using Zon pages, and creating that URL. And then I've bolded this, setting up our inventory protector so that we can't let anything bad happen to our product while we're doing this. And in the final video, I'll run you through a case study of how I've been doing this with my own existing products, the results, and the questions that we really need to ask ourselves to make sure that we're actually getting the results that we want, which is to rank our product really quickly on Amazon, get it to page 1, and then get those organic sales coming in. So the first step in getting things right is selecting the product and getting it ready. So if this is your first product, then obviously you can't choose between products. But what you do need to do is have planned sufficient stock, first of all, for you to do this, because you need to give away a certain amount of units. And if you haven't planned for those units being given away, what will happen is if you do this right, you'll run out of stock. And then if it takes a while for you to restock again, you'll have to go through this process again. So when you're planning your order with your supplier, you need to consider this part and think about how many units you'll have to give away to get the desired sales rate that you want, and then plan accordingly for that. Now, if the product is already existing, if you're already selling this product, then you probably have a little bit more leeway in terms of the quantity of product you have available to give away. However, what you need to check is the organic conversion rate of the product. If the conversion rate is really low, you probably won't have success with this method anyway. Because what happens is we can get the product up to a certain position, we can get it ranked, we can get it seen, but if it's just not a good product, or it just doesn't have enough reviews, or it's just not quality enough, people are not going to fall for that trick. They will see it and then look away and buy something else. And if that happens, Amazon's algorithm will detect that your product is not worth showing, and what will happen is the product ranking will fall quite quickly. So having said that, what do you need to put in place beforehand to make sure that your product has the best chance of success, the best chance of sticking that launch, and then of making those profitable organic sales and staying right up there at the top? So before you go any further, you need to consider these things. And firstly, that's going to be reviews. And now, this is not always the case. It really depends on the niche, and it's impossible to give a blanket answer. Generally, if you're going into competitive niches where everybody else around you on that first page, if you're looking at the top 5, 10 competitors, if they all have hundreds and hundreds of reviews, or even thousands of reviews, your product with 0 or 5 reviews is probably not going to have the social proof that it needs to stay up there. Again, it's hard to say, and it depends on the niche. If this is an upcoming niche of a new product and everything else in that top page has quite low reviews, you can normally get away with it. Another thing you can consider is the price to reviews. Basically, people will buy the product anyway if it's cheap enough. And the mistake that some sellers make, first off, when first starting, is just thinking that their product will immediately sell for a high price when it doesn't have that social proof. So sometimes you need to consider that maybe you don't have the reviews, but if you keep a low price, you can get people to buy your product anyway. And sometimes that process can take months of slowly building up that price as you accumulate reviews and get that price up to a place where you're making 30 to 40% margin. But it doesn't necessarily happen right at the start. And the second thing is having your listing well optimized. So that means the copy has to really speak to the benefits that the product will give to the customer, and the images really need to sell it well. This is 101, so I won't focus on this very much, but basically if somebody clicks onto your listing, having seen it on the first page because you paid all that money to rank it there, they need to still buy it at the end of the day. You can get customers to click on it organically, but if it doesn't look good, they won't buy it and it won't stick. Thirdly, are your keywords indexing? You need to check this because if it turns out that you go through this whole process, giving away all of these units, trying to get a keyword ranked, but your product isn't even indexing for that keyword, again, this will all have been for nothing. And to check that, the easiest way for a single keyword is to just simply type in your ASIN and then the keyword. So let's go and check for USB wall charger. And if that ASIN does show up, then you know that it's indexing. An even better and free tool that you can use to check multiple keywords at once is the Amazon Keyword Index and Rank Checker. It's a free Chrome extension. You can just check this out through Google if you want to look it up. So it works the same way. You can type in the ASIN, but then a list of keywords. So I've typed in a couple here. If you go check now, then it will actually show you not just whether it's ranking, but it also shows you the position as well, which is nice. And then the conversion rate needs to be good as well. So if you're launching a new product, you don't have this data yet, but you can ensure that you have a good chance of having a good conversion rate by having that listing optimized, by having those reviews, by setting a low price at the start. And if these factors aren't there, then the launch will probably work at the first, and then you'll notice that your product is falling back down and essentially it will have failed and you'll need to have done it again after you fix these things up. So don't skip this step. You have to look at this objectively and make sure that your product really does fit these criteria. So once you've gone through all of that and made sure that your product is ready to be ranked, then you have to select which keywords you want to rank for. So usually this will be one of your primary keywords that you've identified during your keyword research. So that's something that you will have put in your product title, probably right at the front, and it needs to have decent search volume, or you can do this, but you just won't have the results that you're looking for. Because you'll rank to the top, but there just aren't enough people searching for that keyword to really make a difference in your sales and therefore your profits. And these next 2 points, they only apply if you're trying to rank an existing product. Obviously, if you're already in that first position for a particular keyword, doing this isn't going to help anything. You're just giving away units needlessly. And this one, existing PPC data, if you do have an existing product with this data, this is a secondary consideration, but we can use this data to tell us in more detail than any other source how our specific product performs for particular keywords. So if I just hop into one example now quickly and show you, I'm not going to use this as the be all and end all because sometimes some keywords may not show up if you're not bidding high enough, or some bidding, PPC bidding, may be super competitive and so that's why you're not bidding. But in this case, what I'm looking for are just keywords that still have decent search volume. So they're probably getting a decent amount of impressions. The clicks are probably pretty high, but the key metrics are the click-through rate and the conversion rate. If you have a really low conversion rate for that specific keyword, so looking at this one, for example, it's getting a lot of impressions, so a lot of people are seeing it, which would happen if it was up on the first page, up at the top, but very few people are actually buying it, and the click-through rate is kind of low as well. So this keyword doesn't really fit my product that well, and so I probably wouldn't want to rank this one because it's a higher chance that I could still rank it, but it would probably fall back down faster than if I picked a keyword that ideally had just as many impressions, just as many clicks, or more clicks even, but the conversion rate was much higher. So I'd be looking, probably, this product actually doesn't have a very high conversion rate organically anyway, but I'd probably be looking around about 12% or above. So I'd probably not consider any of these ones to rank. But you can treat this as a secondary sort of step. And again, if you're launching a new product, you don't have this data anyway. So the next point around using a URL rotator. So let me explain what I mean by that. As I said before, we're going to use a particular URL so that when a customer goes and redeems that promo code, the sale is actually associated with a particular keyword, the keyword that we want to rank. Now, I'll show you in the next video exactly how we're going to create this URL. It's quite simple. However, it's important to realize that we can actually create a URL that will point to multiple keywords based on the ones that we want to rank. So if we want to rank, say, 3 keywords, we could do that using a service called Zon Pages, which I'll show you in video 2. It's really cool, really easy, but let's keep things simple, and at least for now, let's only really consider one keyword. And normally there is one main keyword that you want to rank above the other ones anyway. But it's still good to keep in mind that if you're pressed for time, or if you have multiple keywords that are really, you can't decide between them, you can actually set this up to rank 1 to 3 keywords simultaneously without changing this process at all. So we've got the keyword in mind, but we just want to confirm how many units we actually have to give away to rank for the first page on this keyword. Now, the way that I do this is using Keyword Scout by Jungle Scout. You can also use Helium 10. There are a few other tools that do this, but I'm going to show you Jungle Scout. So So I'm here in my Jungle Scout account, and they have a new feature called Keyword Scout, which has just been added to the web app membership, which you can get for $39 a month. And it's pretty cool. It really gives you a lot of information for keyword research purposes. But at this stage, we've already done our keyword research. So we've got these keywords selected. All we want to do is find out how many units we need to give away. So all you do is type in the keyword that you're looking at into here, and it'll actually give you the recommended giveaway. And that's a daily number. Obviously, wall charger is incredibly competitive, so you'd probably be struggling to do this. But what you take out of this is 178 units per day for that 8-day period that I mentioned before. That will get you to #1 position on page 1. Now, if you're still trying to decide between multiple keywords, what you can do with Keyword Scout is, instead of typing in the keyword to get the recommended giveaway, you can type in the ASIN of a competing but established product that's been around for a while. And you can type this in here, and what Keyword Scout will do is tell you all of the other keywords that that product is ranking for, which if it's a competitor, it'll be the same keywords that you're looking at. And then you can see the recommended giveaway for each of them. So obviously, wall charger, iPad charger, Apple charger, these are super competitive niches. And so for all of them, you're looking at giving away hundreds of units every day. But in the less competitive niches, this should give you a range, and it should tell you as well the search volume. So just in case you didn't do this keyword research phase properly beforehand and you aren't sure about this, what you can do now is find out that search volume, find out the giveaway amount, and then pick the best one that fits with what you think you can give away. Maybe you have, again, limited stock like we talked about before, while considering the exact amount of search volume, because obviously the more times it gets searched, then if you're at the top of that first page, the more times it gets searched, the more times your product will get seen, and you have to get it seen to get it sold. So that will tell us the required giveaway amount. And I did mention before that there are 2 ways of doing this, and the way that I want to show you is the faster way. So that giveaway amount is actually the giveaways per day for 8 days. Now, if we want to do this in 1 day, we can do it, and we just have to give away the total amount. So that 8-day period, if you're giving away 100 units a day for 8 days, the total giveaway amount is 800 units. To compress this into a single day giveaway launch, all we need to do is give away 800 units in 1 day. Now, these are big numbers, so that can be maybe quite intimidating, but if you were giving away 10 units a day, 20 units a day, or again, you do the same thing, compress that into 8 days, but in 1 day. So it'd be 8 times 20, 160 units on that 1 day, like this. And the final thing that we need to consider as we're getting ready and setting all of this up to execute the launch is, what percentage are we going to discount our units when we give them away? Now, I think it's best to keep it simple, at least when you're starting out, and just do it at around 90%. You basically want to make it really hard for somebody who sees this Facebook ad offering them 90% off. You want to make it really hard for them to say no to that. I've had a lot of people come to me with problems with this part of the launch phase, which is actually getting a large enough audience. If you have a very niche product, getting that audience that wants to even take your product almost for free and then to help you do that ranking process, that can be difficult sometimes. And so we don't want to make that more of a problem than it needs to be. If you set, for example, a 30% discount or a 40 or 50% discount, that can work if the audience is large enough, if your product is really that good, and if you can target the right audience in the first place using Facebook ads. So again, I will talk about that in the next video, but for now, we're just gonna keep it simple and just give it away at 90%. Another way of thinking about this would be to plan for success and not plan for failure. So we wanna set this up so that we can give away these units and maybe lose a little bit more on each unit by giving them away at 90%. But by doing so, we're guaranteeing that we'll have success later on. And when we have success, we'll pay all of that back within a few weeks, maybe a month at most. So that is part 1 of this 3-part video series. So in the next video, I'll be talking about how to set this up step by step, how we use keyword tracking software, how we're generating the promo codes within Amazon, setting up the Facebook ads, creating the right audience that we're gonna use to target our products correctly, make the ad as well, the copy that we're gonna use, using Manychat, using Zon pages and the ranking URL, and then also protecting our inventory and managing these risks of giving away discounted units. And then in the final part, part 3, we're gonna talk about turning it all on, tracking the keywords, the ad spend, and the performance over time. I'm gonna run you through the product that I'm really doing this on right now as well, so you can see a real case study of how it works. And then finally, we're gonna evaluate everything. So that means asking these critical questions that really tell us, did we succeed or not? So did the product rank correctly? Fine. If it ranked, did it stick? Did it stay up there? And if it did, is it generating the sales that we predicted? The last thing to do from there is then to just have a feedback loop and adjust this process so we can do it even better the next time. So all of that is coming up in the next video. Again, if you haven't already, subscribe, click that notification bell, turn those notifications on, and I'll see you in the next one.